So I didn't know this. Lyndon Johnson, he's wins his election, right? He's way ahead in the polls, like a week before the elections come. And his chief of staff, they have a party, you know, because they're so happy because next week they're going to be president again for 4 more years. So they have a big party at the White House, and his chief of staff goes across the street to a YMCA and blows a dude.
So wait a minute.
So the next day...
Take my jacket off here. This is ridiculous. What happened here?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Say that again.
Okay, so Lyndon Johnson, right?
Yeah.
He's going to win.
Yeah.
He's, you know, he knows he's going to win. He's way ahead in the polls, as long as nothing crazy happens, right? So he goes, hey, let's have a little party, a week left, you know. We're going to win easily unless some crazy thing happens, you know. And so they're having the party and everything.
But how did anyone find out about the
chief of
dude
staff
getting blown?
Because the chief of staff, well, listen, if you go into Hawaii and blow a guy,
right, but
you never know.
But it just came out. Did this actually come out in the press?
Yeah, like they had a sting operation.
And is this on the tapes? Is this on the tapes?
It was funny because it was in the old days, so the press couldn't say that, you know. So they had to say it in language that the audience didn't even kind of understand. They go like he was caught in a somewhat compromising situation in a young man's Christians association, and people, old farmers, would go, well, wonder what happened there. So they wouldn't come. So I think that helped them, but the conversations with Lyndon Johnson are hilarious because he goes, he's just talking to his friends, and it's this longtime guy that he didn't know was gay, you know, and he's like, my golly, I could never have figured that for Bob. I've known Bob 30 years, and he goes, I'd quicker say I was a fruit than him.
Really?
Yeah,
on the tape?
On the tape, yeah.
Where did you get the tape? Where did you, Lyndon Johnson said that. Where did you get the tapes?
And then he goes, and then the funniest thing is he phones J. Edgar Hoover, who he knows is gay, right? But he's like real powerful and everything, right?
J. Edgar Hoover was gay.
Yeah, like, you know, he was a transvestite and he'd have dudes over.
Is this true? Or?
Yeah, no, that's fairly well documented.
I know
I'm
it
not
was
outing him. I'm not Perez Hilton over here.
I know people.
No, this is fairly.
Yeah.
He's well documented.
Yeah.
So Lyndon Johnson knew for sure he was gay, but he was scared of him because he was so powerful. So he just like needles him, you know. And he's like, so he's talking to him and he goes, I can't believe old Bob's one of them fellers, you know. They didn't even have a word for it and stuff. And so J. Edgar Hoover goes, well, sir, he goes, I have to ask a rather tough question here, but now when Bob was involved in this, was he the more or less sort of, you know, a participant, or was he more or less the feller that, you know, instigated the thing, you know?
He's asking if he's a catcher or
yes, I don't know.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What have you got me? Why are we talking?
Gross, you're saying that. So the guy goes, so then J. Edgar Hoover goes, well, I wouldn't, well, Mr. President, he goes, I'm sorry to tell you he was the instigator, you know, and he goes, oh, good God, he goes, how do you spot a feller like that, Edgar? You know? So then J. Edgar Hoover goes, well, I wouldn't know, sir. He goes, oh, come on now, Edgar. He goes, if there was anybody that could spot a feller like that, it'd be you. Why, you're the head of the FBI. And so,
this isn't really what's on the tape.
True.
Is that really on the tape?
That's really on the tape. And J. Edgar Hoover's kind of mad. He's like, anyway, all right.
And finally, back again, Burt Reynolds in a commanding lead with $14.
Hey, check out the podium. Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Great. What in the... Burt Reynolds, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's not my name.
All right, Turd Ferguson.
Sorry I'm late. I had to pick up my podium from the garage.
Well, you're not late. You weren't invited.
Hey, I speak a little French. You're an assbite. Pardon my French.
My name's French.
Yeah, well, who gives a damn?
Moving on. Burt Reynolds.
That's not my name.
Okay. Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, what do you want?
You buzzed in.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion. I'd like to solve the puzzle, Alice.
This isn't Wheel of Fortune.
Who is Andre the Giant?
Is that an answer to a question?
No, I was just wondering who is Andre the Giant.
Burt Reynolds.
I just remembered.
You remembered what?
I remembered who Andre the Giant was. He was a giant, and he went by the name of Andre.
Why are you still talking about Andre the Giant? Burt Reynolds.
Why don't you give me Andre the Giant for $1,000?
No, it's not a category.
Yeah, well, why don't you give me 8 tit for 200?
It's not 8 tit. This is the sound a doggy makes. Burt Reynolds.
Who is Scooby-Doo?
No.
That was a funny dog, Scooby-Doo. He drove around in a van and solved mysteries.
That is incorrect.
No, that's correct. I remember you had a pal, Scrappy-Doo.
Mr. Reynolds, what are you doing?
Yeah, I found this backstage. Oversized hat. Funny.
No, it's not.
Sure it is. It's funny. It's funny because it's bigger than a normal hat.
I see that. Get back to your podium.
Take a look at that.
Yeah, I see it. Go back to your podium. It's not funny. Good night. Would you get that off me? Yeah, it was. Good night. But please stop it. I'm tired of this.
What do you think about guys like this, though?
This guy?
Yeah.
He seems like
comes
an alright
around.
guy.
This is his little joke against the poor masses that came out of a chimney.
Being from Manchester, this has nothing to do with the Holocaust.
I didn't bring up the Holocaust.
You did.
I love the fact you sort of gleefully said, I didn't bring up the Holocaust.
I know you're very good friends with David Irving, the author, who he reads constantly.
Yeah, I'm not friends with David Irving.
Do you know that he, though, is a revisionist?
Oh, you're a revisionist?
Well, he's a denier, Holocaust denier. But he's never read David Irving because he said he's too smart. And I tell him, well, David Irving would be your biggest ally, you know what I mean? Instead of...
Don't rub it.
A lot of people happy to see you guys together. Quiet, nice.
Great.
Yeah, she's on.
Yeah, man, turn your head. There you go. Up with it a little bit. There you go. All right, I'm gonna have to...
But let me tell you this, if the Miami Heat win the NBA championship this year, I will eat my hat. It's not that I care or think they're going to win. I just want to eat my hat. This is where most of my weight goes. Straight to whatever the fuck this is.
Oh, I read it?
Yeah, you can read it right into the camera. That tree right there is...
I had an uncle, mean guy. He was a prize fighter. He once broke both his hands in a fight against a washer-dryer that he got on The Price is Right.
What? Why The Price is Right?
He was a prize fighter and he won it on The Price is Right. He won the prize.
A prize fighter.
Yeah, and he won the prize and then he had a fight against it, which was washer-dryer.
God damn, there's more layers.
Let me explain why that's funny.
Fucking, my father, this is all about relatives. My father was recently diagnosed with shingles, which is a terrible sickness that usually only affects roofs.
All right. Yeah, that works.
What the fuck is his name?
It's Adam Egret.
Adam Egret.
It's Egret. When I was a...
Don't ignore him.
What happened?
He's looking at you.
Oh, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but when I was a child, my parents told me my uncle was sleeping with the fishes, which at the time I assumed meant he bought a waterbed. Then I found out he had been killed and his body buried at sea.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God almighty.
Is that in parentheses?
I'd like to take this moment to say I endorse podiums. That's a product I can stand behind. No, but I will tell you this. I one time worked for Otis Elevator. I don't know if you know who they are.
Who?
Otis Elevators. They make elevators.
Okay.
It's a company. And they wanted me to come up with a slogan. I thought I had a great one. Otis Elevators, they never let you down. But Hotel Rwanda. You remember that?
Geez,
you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing about Hotel Rwanda.
I've noticed that Hotel Rwanda has a great score on Rotten Tomatoes, but their Yelp reviews are terrible.
Growing up, I had a dog with an eating disorder. He wouldn't eat any of my homework.
All right. I don't understand why LA is struggling to provide better public transportation when my neighbor Rich offers free mustache rides every night.
That's not right.
I don't understand.
That's a heterosexual man. He has a mustache.
Right.
And he's inviting ladies to
sit on his
ride
face.
on. Okay.
No, it's
A
That's why we
mustache
make
ride? Is that what it
jokes.
is?
yeah, free mustache rides.
Yeah. So guys will wear T-shirts. Say
So it's
free
like-
mustache ride. Hey, by the way, I've noticed the term adult toy always refers to something you can shove up your asshole, and never like a big race car, like for a grown-up.
Another good observation.
Yeah, I could sell that to mine and Stanley.
Can we rip all these from?
It's there the whole time, man.
Playboy magazine has done away with the nude photo layouts altogether. In other words, they've eliminated ladies in the altogether altogether.
Oh man!
That's a sort of radio DJ joke, I feel.
The way you
know
the
what I
way
mean?
you
We have to
your
deliver
voice,
with
yeah,
that,
you
right?
had to deliver it.
In other words,
amazing.
they've eliminated ladies in the altogether altogether. Here's Taylor Swift.
A young Zika mosquito,
Oh God, topical.
torn from today's headlines, went out flying for the first time in his life. When it came back, his father asked, "How was it out there? How'd you feel?" The young Zika mosquito replied, "It was great, Daddy. Everyone was clapping for me." The father replied, "No one was clapping hands for you. Why, everyone wants to kill you. The more they clapped, the more chances that you were going to die." Lesson. In life, not all the people who celebrate you are well-wishers.
Oh, well, that's turned into a little philosophical lesson, didn't it? And I felt like that was an age-old mosquito parable that if someone's inserted Zika into to make it seem like this show is up to date.
I agree with you. Adam Egret, who is, by the way, I'll just remind you, he's over here. That's him. Yeah. It's a joke, an Adam Egret joke.
How do you say the name?
Adam Egret.
Egret. Spelt differently.
Like the bird.
That's Egret.
Do you know what Adam Egret has in common with a guitar player?
Adam Egret has in common with a guitar player. No, I don't know.
They both love fingering minors.
Now, okay, come on now. Come on now. When I die, I want to be cremated, and my ashes spread eagle and fucked hard, like a fucking real tramp. Wow, come on, man. Why did they make me say that?
Wow.
Jesus Christ. You see, somebody writes that. It's not me. It's just some fucker over there in the next room.
Yeah.
And then I say it like a goddamn robot. And then people think I thought of it. But I'm clearly...
Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, "Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat."